Now, I think I can honestly say that on a footballing basis, this has just been a weekend of abject misery. It is just so bad out there. And one of the main conductors of this symphony of misery is Louis van Gaal. King Louis, you know how much I love you. You are just priceless. But your team is terrible. Manchester United, just 0-0, 0-0. It's just, where's it going to end? You even come out and say that you don't know Anthony Martial's best position. Well, we all do. It's centre forward. You've got Juan Mata, Wayne Rooney. I mean, how can Manchester United be so bad with all these players? Ander Herrera, who's a cracking player as well. Rooney's carrying the can. Everyone's saying he's shot, he's finished. Okay, he's not the player he was. But he is suffering because of your tactics. Everyone can see that the life is being throttled out of that team. And you are throttling the life out of me. I'm not a Manchester United fan by any stretch of the imagination. I'm happy to see Manchester United lose, I'll be honest. But at least they used to be exciting to watch. You know, they were always up and at them, blood and thunder, really out there attacking football. This is just miserable, Louis. Come on, do better. Now, it's also become very apparent to me that I'm going to have to conduct some kind of global hunt for the very large mirror that I've clearly smashed somewhere in the world unwittingly. Because everything I talk about or even dream to think might actually be quite good in this Premiership season just goes completely the other way. It's just misery, doom and despair. I've talked up Swansea, rubbish. Stoke, rubbish. Don't even talk to me about my own Chelsea, but we will get to them. And the other guy I've been defending all along is Sam Allardyce. For me, one of the most progressive modern managers in the game, whatever his demeanour may suggest. I think he's a cracking manager. And then he goes and lets Everton put 6 past his team. Everton. This is not Real Madrid or Bayern Munich. This is Everton. And I'll give you a clue. They're rubbish too. Allardyce, what is going on? Your teams do not ship 6 goals. At the same time, Tony Pulis is letting in 3 against Leicester. I just can't cope with this anymore. How can I go on week after week where there's just torture and misery? Everything I touch at the moment it is just shockingly bad out there, and everything I have any remote interest in. I think the best way for me to get Chelsea back up the table is to start talking up every single team above them, because then they'll all just start losing. We'll get to a stage where both teams are losing matches. It's just that bad for me this year. I could honestly rant about this all day. It is just, Allardyce, don't do this to me. On top of everything else, I need something to hang on to. I need some sort of security blanket. Please let it be you, Sam Allardyce. Now, of course, much of the reason for my less than smiley demeanour at the moment when we talk about football is, of course, what's going on at Chelsea. Now, it's boring to just rake over the same old stuff, but I am just getting so fed up with journalists, pundits, whatever, everyone saying this is the week that Chelsea turned the corner. Has anyone watched how bad we are? We are absolutely terrible. I don't know why anybody thought that Chelsea were going to beat Liverpool. Chelsea are terrible. I haven't got the faintest idea what has gone wrong. I really don't. You know, unless it's something, as I say, I've mentioned before, that the real players were kidnapped and we just have life-size imposters with the best disguises on ever, because I just don't recognise anyone out there. And I also don't recognise the manager at the moment either on the touchline, because he has no answers in these games. Tactically, we just, you look at the bench. The only reason we had a decent bench, a half-decent bench, on Saturday was because we put the decent players on the bench in the first place. John Obi Mikel should not be anywhere near a football pitch. He's rubbish. I'm better than John Obi Mikel. Seriously, he is one of the worst players ever to pull on a Chelsea shirt. And if you go back to the 80s and 90s, they've had some pretty poor players. I don't know what the answer is with this Chelsea team, but people need to stop talking about Chelsea, whether they're going to make the top 4 this year. They'll be lucky to make the top half. You watch how badly they are playing, how off the pace they are. And Mourinho has no answers. And this war with the press and with everybody else is not helping, mate. Jose, we need some positivity. We need something to dig us out of this, because we are just going nowhere. People are saying the performances again, but they're not. I watched you guys live in the flesh against Villa, and Chelsea were terrible. We're meant to get excited that we managed to draw against Stoke for 90 minutes, and then we got thrashed by Liverpool. We got torn apart in that second half. It is just utter misery. And I know that no one feels sorry for Chelsea fans, but Chelsea fans are acting with a lot of self-respect and dignity. They're sticking by their manager. No team has a God-given right to win, but surely the Chelsea fans deserve better than this. The players have got to come up with some better performances, and Mourinho has to come up with some answers. Now, the other thing that's left me greatly vexed this weekend was the goings-on at the Liberty Stadium, where Arsenal ran out comfortable 3-0 winners away to Swansea. This is just, on so many levels, just another result that I dreaded and I got. Baffour Gomez, cow's posterior, and a small sort of annoying guitar-like thing, because you certainly couldn't hit one with the other. Just rubbish. And again, Swansea are a club that I really, really big up this season. Letting me down again. Absolutely terrible. And you know what else really, really annoys me? Is that Arsenal look that they might actually win the title this year. And that will just do my head in. It really, really will. Because for 10 years, Arsenal have been dreadful. And you know what? They're still not very good. It's just that everybody else is rubbish too this year. And this will be seen as vindication for 10 years of Wenger not buying a central defender or a goalkeeper. And they're just going to sleepwalk their way to this because everybody else is so rubbish. I mean, Manchester City could barely beat Norwich. In fact, Joe Hart did his best to give Norwich the points. What is going on? Swansea couldn't even put up a fight against Arsenal. This is an Arsenal team, you know, so many injuries and, it's just, the whole thing is just driving me mad. But I'll tell you, one of the things that might just win Arsenal the title is that Theo Walcott's out. Because you actually need players with some nerve and some steel and some heart. And him being missing might just take Arsenal to the title. And as for Swansea, I just don't know. The only thing Swansea got going for them this year is there's definitely 3 teams worse than them. It's just misery, doom and gloom. I've really, really had my fill this weekend. It's just been awful on every level. It is just so bad out there. Being a Chelsea fan and then everything else that goes with it at the moment. And the prospect of Arsenal winning the league. God!